You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
New York City, with its iconic images emblazoned across the landscape. Lady Liberty. And this iconic sign, as we say, welcome back to America's now third largest city. Its numbers continue to swell. And last night, LSU's Ben Simmons saw his numbers swell, adding to his collegiate lore already in the young stages of his career. The Tigers' Player of the Year candidate was indomitable, unassailable for most of the night, as Brooklyn took note. But the Tigers failing to win in the end. And he's back tonight as we welcome you back to FanDuel Legends Classic in conjunction with Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. Number 22 LSU taking on North Carolina State, the third place game. Mark Jones chopping it up alongside Kara Lawson. Kara, both these teams on the short end of the wrong tight game last night. And they both lost, and interested to see how they're going to bounce back. But both these teams, interesting to see how they put up their numbers last night, contrasting ways.
Well, you're in a good place if you're here to watch this game, because Ben Simmons is appointment television. He's the best player in college basketball. So much fun to watch. And you look at the numbers he put up, really historic numbers. You look at major conference players in the last 20 years, one of 5 guys to do what he did last night. Plus 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 assists. Just a pleasure to watch. Control, the court awareness, the basketball IQ, 6'10" point forward. And you combat that if you're NC State with tremendous balance on the offensive end of their floor. Last night in their loss to Arizona State, you see the numbers. Anthony Cat Barber, their point guard, 22 points. He's quick, but he's got other guys around him. That is the difference. Can LSU have some other players step up to counter this balance the Wolfpack brings?
As several of the guys had tough shooting nights. As we take a look at our starting lineups, presented by FanDuel, Jalen Patterson getting the start tonight instead of Brandon Sampson, the freshman who will come off the bench this evening. Blakeney had a tough night shooting. Quarterman had a nice game. Simmons and Albert Robinson only played 15 minutes last night on that sprained ankle. Meanwhile, for the Wolfpack, Barber led the way last night. Had some help from Martin, Maverick Rowan, Leonard Freeman, and Abdul Malik Abu rounding out the starting 5 on a big front line for North Carolina State. North Carolina State coming into this game with a record of 2-2 now, led by fifth-year head coach Mark Gottfried. You can see him through the trees there, the maze of his players. He's taken his team to the NCAA tournament in each of his first 4 seasons on campus in Raleigh. Meanwhile, the fourth-year head coach for LSU is former player Johnny Jones, a.k.a. the Bullet, they called him back in his playing days. Former assistant coach at LSU under Dale Brown, and now the head man calling the shots as we are underway. Quarterman controlling for the Tigers.
So Leonard Freeman for NC State gets the first crack at Ben Simmons defensively.
Blakeney kicks it out to Patterson. Blakeney had a tough night shooting the basketball last night. Simmons inside to Albert Robinson, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Martin standing in there to take the blow on the charge. And when you talk about Robinson, that's a big, big body.
Yeah, it is a big body, and you see how NC State is going to defend Ben Simmons, at least initially. They're going to throw a lot of different guys at him, but on ball screens, not switching, but the second player is staying there for a while to encourage him to pass it out.
Simmons had 21 points last night to go along with 20 rebounds and 7 assists. Martin, a long 2 off the mark. Rebound underneath by Abu. We have a jump ball call. It'll be Wolfpack's ball.
Yeah, rebounding's been an issue for LSU here early in the season. Good job by Patterson to crack back down there and get his hands and fight with the post players. A little bit undersized for LSU, particularly when Robinson's out of the game.
Martin out top, working against Quarterman, and maybe their best on-ball defender. Shot clock down to 10. Barber with a tough mid-range jumper, a little bit strong, and rebounded by Simmons. That will be a popular refrain during the night. Simmons likes to take it off the glass and go with it. Here's Blakeney. Back to Simmons. They run a double team at him. Trying to take the ball out of his hands, makes the nice pass. Blakeney from downtown. That one halfway down and out. He was out here 90 minutes before tip tonight, getting up a bunch of shots. Trying to turn the beat around from last night. Inside, Freeman wheels and misses. Both teams coming out a little bit cold offensively. Simmons passed up a good look, and Patterson had it go halfway down and out. Barber probing, and he knocks down the first field goal of the ball game. Waterman on the drive, took the contact. Robinson had his back on the tip.
Yeah, that's an issue for NC State in this game. A point of emphasis, transition defense. They are going to be opportunistic in terms of when they're going to run, but you've got to get back. LSU is deadly in transition.
Here's a boo. Robinson didn't go for the ball fake. Well defended by the Tigers. They like to push the ball in transition. Here's Simmons. Very willing passer. Blitz Quarterman off the screen. Back to Patterson now. Patterson lets it fly and misses everything. It's Patterson that had a chance for the tie last night.
When you look at Cat Barber here, and it's his quickness and his change of speed, I think, that's different in his junior year. I thought his first 2 seasons for NC State, he was fast all of the time. And even when you're really fast, if you're fast all the time, you can be defended. And so he's added that little change of speed to his game on the offensive end, has made it more difficult to keep him in front.
Ball out of bounds.
Out of bounds, last touch by NC State, possession to LSU.
A moment ago I said Cat Williams, of course, he is the famous comedian. Nothing funny about Cat Barber's name or game. Just underway here. We played 3 minutes. Here's Patterson. Back out top. Not often you see LSU go this deep into the shot clock. Blakeney with the floater, gets it to fall.
That was a great shot by Blakeney, but that was a ridiculous pass by Ben Simmons. I mean, corner to corner, just the flick of the wrist right there, and got it all the way across.
Barber out top. Rowan cuts through. Martin from deep, and he gets it to fall. Caleb Martin, a 6'7" sophomore from Mocksville, North Carolina. Has his twin brother also on the team, Cody Martin. See him in a bit. And that's a great sign for Blakeney. He is routinely the first one in the gym for LSU. Talked to him last week when they played Kennesaw State. Says he likes to get at least 100 makes before each game. 15.5 to go. Maverick Rowan, the freshman. And Quarterman rips it away. Great hit-ahead pass to Patterson. That's how you run a fast break here.
Yeah, that's the transition. I mean, LSU, it's one of their strengths, probably their primary strength offensively, is that they can get the ball, the defensive rebound, to the basket very quickly, and any number of guys can bring it up.
Pull-up jumper off the mark by Martin. And Patterson with another bucket. Well, LSU getting some easy runouts. A 7-0 run for the LSU Tigers. Martin on the wing, now to Cat Barber. Working after that ball screen by Anya, and that's a big ball screen. Anya goes 290, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Leonard Freeman. Timeout on the floor.
Spectacular vision in two ways for Ben Simmons in the half-court setting, from corner to corner, right on time, great efficiency with that pace. Blakeney's able to hit that floater. And then you look at the full court from Ben Simmons, nice play.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by FanDuel, the leader in one-day fantasy basketball, and TrueCar. The future of car buying is here. Visit TrueCar.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to New York. LSU in the middle of a 7-0 run, leading by 6. Johnny Jones' team trying to bounce back after losing a tight one to Marquette last night. Got to remember that this is a team that still is not whole, missing a couple of key parts, in particular Hornby, maybe their best three-point shooter. Hornsby is due back, they're saying, the early part of December now. It was thought to be late December. But Hornsby is a guy that they could have used last night. And that's going to be a foul against Patterson.
You know, LSU has played so well, particularly on the offensive end, the first few games this season. And I thought last night was the first night that they really missed Keith Hornsby. And he's here with the team in Brooklyn, sitting on the bench. And he was out here earlier feeding Antonio Blakeney, helping him get shots up early. His presence as a senior and his ability to knock down the three-point shot, they struggled. The supporting cast struggled last night outside of Ben Simmons knocking down the three-point shot, and his presence as a senior as well just adds tremendous value.
Johnny Jones saying that it's tough to turn his motor down because he has one speed, and that's 100 miles per hour, so he's got to at times protect Keith Hornsby from himself. Doesn't let him near the court. Still not cleared for full contact.
Yeah, not cleared for full contact. At practice, he's able to do some 5-on-0 things and be out there with the guys.
3-on-2 for Cat Barber. Forced up a tough shot. The follow and one. And good work on the boards by Abdul Malik Abu.
That's the physicality that this NC State Wolfpack front court brings. You have Abu, you have Anya that comes in off the bench, you have Freeman. They attack the offensive glass, and it's a big part of how they attack, is they understand that missed shots are an opportunity for their guys in the front line to score and to put pressure on the other team.
Abu completes the three-point play. Now just a one-point lead, a little half-court trap, broken nicely. And here's Quarterman. Boy, Quarterman had a great game last night. Bridgewater playing some bully ball on the baseline. Wow. Former football player. Nice baseline move. It's a three-point game. Josh Gray getting set to check into the ball game for the Tigers. Who was looking for Anya. Anya making himself big, trying to post up. Instead, Martin knocks down the three. It's Caleb Martin. Quarterman in transition and one. An incredibly dynamic athletic play by the all-around talent, Tim Quarterman.
Well, I'm sure that Mark Gottfried has told his guys, look, when the ball goes out of the net or even there's a missed shot, we have got to sprint back. We've got to set up. We've got to form a wall. And that's how LSU has scored. I mean, they've scored really just running it back in NC State's transition defense, and it's been poor. And I know it's difficult. It's easy to sit over here and say, hey, play transition defense against Ben Simmons and against Tim Quarterman and keep them out of the paint. But it's what you have to do if you fashion yourself as a team that can beat them.
Well, LSU has made 7 of its last 8 field goals. Got to really like Quarterman's game. A great all-around talent.
Well, he's the second best player on this team, and you know there were 51 NBA scouts here last night to watch Ben Simmons, Henry Ellenson. Well, there were as a group here to watch Tim Quarterman as well. I mean, he's getting a lot of looks in the NBA because of his size and his versatility. One
of those interchangeable parts, the way that the game is trending in the league right now. Here he is on cue in the corner, pulls it out, and Blakeney going to run a set with about 12 minutes to go in the first half. Comes off the screen, high off glass, rebounded by Caleb Martin.
We talked about it yesterday. Most of those NBA scouts aren't going to have a shot at Ben Simmons anyway, so.
They enjoyed the show, though. Rowan had it go in and out. And Quarterman leading the break. Might not have been a more improved player in the conference last year than Quarterman. A rebound underneath by Bridgewater. And Bridgewater continuing to carve space for himself underneath. Timeout on the floor. When we come back, we'll talk about the Australian roots of Ben Simmons. Take a look at the roots of Australian basketball collegiately. Andrew Gaze, Seton Hall, Luke Longley played for the Bulls. Andrew Bogut, Utah, and Patty Mills, St. Mary's, along with Dellavedova also at St. Mary's. Dante Exum with the Australian national team, now in the NBA with the Utah Jazz, coming off that knee surgery. And you're looking at the latest and maybe the greatest right now in that lineage. And there's a look at mom and dad. His dad Dave right there played 13 seasons in the NBL in Australia. Mom Julie also there, his sister Olivia, enjoying New York City. And not really much of a surprise that he hasn't shot yet, right? I mean, he's not the type of guy to force something if it's not there.
He doesn't force. He doesn't force it. It's remarkable, his maturity and just his sense of how the game should be played. He very much wants to have his teammates take open shots, and if he's guarded, he's going to give it up and give them quality looks, and we see it time and time again.
Well, him coming to LSU was really a no-brainer. There's a look at his godfather, Coach Patrick, who really was at the forefront of that Australian pipeline of players coming to play collegiately in this country when he was at St. Mary's. The Boomers going to have a pretty good national team. Ben Simmons didn't get a chance to play with the Australian national team this past summer in qualifications. He was on campus taking classes and working out with his teammates. Maverick Rowan, the freshman, knocks down his first field goal. Rowan played his high school basketball in Fort Lauderdale at Cardinal Gibbons. Whistle and a foul going to go against the Wolfpack. Folks, let's take a look at the bracket of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Vandy with an impressive win, taking on Wake Forest, then Kansas UCLA tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN.
Vanderbilt is a team that a lot of people think will be the second best team in the SEC behind Kentucky. And what is the SEC opener for those two teams? LSU at Vanderbilt. I mean, that's going to be a great opportunity for both teams.
And a great lob by Cat Barber to Abu. They got some pretty good shooters. Let's talk about the SEC. How many teams you figure get to the tournament this year? I know it's early. How many would you guess?
At the start of the year, I thought there were 6 teams that had an opportunity to get into the tournament. Obviously, Kentucky, LSU, Vandy. You look at Texas A&M, Georgia, and Florida, I think, has a ton of talent. It remains to be seen. You know, some of those teams have taken some tough non-conference losses, but there's always the opportunity now in the SEC to get quality wins, resume-changing wins.
Tied at 17. Barber trips back up. If there's one irreplaceable component of this North Carolina State team, it's Cat Barber. He's only come out of the game 2 times so far this season. He's only subbed out a couple of times. We saw one of them yesterday. Here he is on the wing working against Josh Gray. Good defense by Gray. Gets to the floor and a shot clock violation. Here's a look at how the Wolfpack got here. Barber with a big game yesterday, albeit came up just a little bit short in the end. And Arizona State will play Marquette in the second game of our doubleheader for the championship.
We had a great power forward matchup or forward matchup in the game last night between LSU and Marquette, and I think we'll have another one tonight in the championship game when you look at Savon Goodman and how he was able to rebound the basketball. 21 points, 16 rebounds, and then the freshman Henry Ellenson had a nice night last night, played with foul trouble in the first half, but in the second 20 really came out and played with a bunch of poise and maturity. Anytime
you have 2 Duke guys, former players, going head-to-head as head coaches now, and Bobby Hurley and Steve Wojciechowski, always a compelling storyline. At the second half of our doubleheader on ESPN2 tonight. Right now, Ben Simmons remains scoreless as we've played more than half of the first half.
You for LSU, I just like to see more movement in their half court. I think at times they all stand around, and it's not even just watching Ben do what Ben does. I just think more movement with the athletes that they have, with the skilled players that they have, that they could be tough to guard with a little more movement in their half-court offense.
Yeah, this team's still evolving. A lot of young players, 3 freshmen usually start. Under 9 minutes to go. Barber with the elbow jumper, no good, and rolled around a couple of times. Good stick back by Caleb Martin. Tied at 19. Mark Gottfried exhorting his troops to D up here. Sampson back out to Simmons. Waterman had it deflected in a steal. Barber on the loose, tipped away by Simmons with those quick hands. Gray with a nice move.
Josh Gray was a spark in their game. Really almost helped win him the game with his intensity on the defensive end, doing things like that. He's able to put a lot of pressure, solid athleticism on the defensive end of the floor. He's just a pesky guard.
Well, Carroll, we saw the first half. Here's the other half of the ledger. Marquette defeating LSU last night, 81-80. After that missed last gasp effort by Jalen Patterson. Second half, LSU had a tough time shooting the basketball. As you mentioned earlier, rebounding a little bit of a concern, but they couldn't stop the Marquette Golden Eagles in the paint yesterday.
Perimeter defense broke down. Juwan Johnson, Dwayne Wilson were able to get into the paint at will, and we know the interior players for Marquette can score. They're very skilled, and so that's what Johnny Jones said a point of emphasis was, our perimeter D. That's what precipitated the change in the starting lineup, Patterson for Sampson.
Good defense by Blakeney. Martin had it tipped, found his own man. Great astute observation and pass for the bucket. Tied at 21. Little two-man game, Blakeney and Simmons. Simmons surveys, and Kara, you pointed it out earlier, a traveling violation. He likes to whip that cross-court pass.
He does a great job of his vision and his court sense. His passes are almost always on target. He's the best player in college basketball. It's a treat to watch him for the second night in a row.
Seven and a half to go in the first half, deadlocked at 21. Feast Week presented by Lowe's as we go inside the play and some post play, Kara.
Well, some people say it's the lost art is feeding the post. You're going to take a look at Cat Barber here, and if we freeze it, it looks like he's got a direct pass in there. But one of the things you don't know is, are there players behind him that are sneaking over behind B.J. Anya? Is he just making a decision as a point guard and saying, you know what, I've got him here for a couple seconds, but I'm not sure he's going to score one-on-one in the post against that defender. Let's move the basketball and see if we can get a better look. There's a lot of decision-making going on in a guard's mind when they're looking for a post-up. And see, he's looking right now trying to get it.
This time Anya gets it. Gottfried wants him to be more offensive-minded, Kara, but you got to get touches to be that way.
And it's hard. I mean, you have to have great synergy. People a lot of times talk about the play between a guard and a post in a pick-and-roll situation. I think there's synergy between feeding the post and that post player. When you pass it, do you relocate? Do you cut through? Do you see in their eyes that, hey, I haven't touched the ball in 3 or 4 times down the court. I'm going to do something foolish if I don't get it on this play. So you give it to him, and you keep them happy. All those things go through your mind as a guard when you're looking at feeding your post and keeping those big players happy.
How often do you get a big post person come to you during the huddle and say, hey, Kara, I'm open. What's up?
I try to say. Well, see, I try to nip it before we even get to the huddle.
Okay.
If I see him getting antsy from body language,
right,
as we're walking back, I'll say, hey, I see you. I see you. I'm going to get you next time.
Okay.
And so you have to talk to them. Otherwise, they'll quit running for you. They'll quit screening for you.
Engage. I see. Tied at 21. Into the post. Robinson looking to attack now. And he travels with it. That's going to be the 6th turnover. Ben Simmons still with no field goal attempts in the ball game. And for one of the few times, Simmons getting a little bit of a breather. Gray with the rebound. See how these Tigers do with Simmons on the bench. Blakeney passed up a great open look. And Sampson couldn't convert. Smith with the crossover. Foul. Count it. Caleb Martin will go to the free throw line and try and complete the three-point play. Pardon me, that was Cody Martin, his twin. Identical twin.
I can see how you get
identical haircut, identical beard, identical uniform. My bad.
You know, these twins have kind of been thrust into a greater role than anticipated. When you look at the makeup of Mark Godfrey's team, it had Trevor Lacey, who they thought would be returning, decided to leave and go pro early, and then the injury to Terry Henderson. And so Caleb Martin has really stepped up, number 14, Caleb Martin, and scoring the basketball. And here's Cody with the steal.
Cody with the layup on the conversion. LSU down by 5. Simmons back in the ball game. Whistle. Looks like we have a clock issue. The 30-second shot clock wasn't running. Still stuck at 30. As Rowan checks into the game for the Wolfpack. Okay, now Ben Simmons still has not taken a shot. From what you've seen of LSU's offense, is as they study the clock and see how much time to put back on it or take off of it, actually. Is Coach Jones the type of guy to come out and run something for Simmons to make sure he gets a jack here somewhere?
Well,
it seems it's starting to get unusual now, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. With a player like Ben Simmons, that's as good as a college basketball player as there's been in a long time, he's seeing so many different looks every night. And I think there will come a point in the season where LSU will have seen every look that they're going to see, and then they'll be able to gain some traction offensively. But it's very hard when every night you're seeing a different look. Are they doubling Ben? Are they not doubling Ben? Are they sloughing off? Are they playing with a guard? Are they playing with a post? And it's not just Ben who has to adjust to that. It's all the players around him. So I think that's where you see kind of the hesitancy from them sometimes in the half court, is they're trying to see, hey, what is the defense doing right now?
Yeah, great point. Robinson, the big fella, getting on the deck and coming up with a hustle play. And Sampson finally knocks one down from downtown.
And the reality of it is, for LSU offensively, if other guys don't knock down shots, it's not going to matter what Ben Simmons does, because they need other players to knock down threes to really loosen up things defensively.
Post up, and great defense by Simmons. He got on the deck, and it's going to be a North Carolina State basketball. Shot clock down to 11. Bridgewater coming back into the ball game for the Tigers. Robinson will sit down.
Yeah, we were talking about post entry there a few minutes ago. You also have to know who the defender is, and if they have the ability to circle like Ben Simmons does right there to get that deflection when you're looking into the post.
Martin, heat check. Got it. And Caleb Martin now 8 points in the ball game. 2 for 2 from downtown. Blakeney thought about it. Now they're going to run one. Simmons out top. Teams continuing to lay off of him, Kara, giving him a lot of room. Daring him to take a 15-foot jump shot.
Well, you know, the other thing about it is I really love Ben Simmons in the post. He's a terrific passer out of the post, and he can do some things on the block, too. And so, you know, he's very good at this, too. Very confident in Antonio Blakeney. But I think that's another way that you can kind of use him and utilize and get the defense in a different shape by putting him on the block and giving him the ball.
They've cut the lead to 2. Blakeney and Simmons have played basketball together for a long time, going back to their AAU days. Abu wheeling in the post, and Simmons comes up with the block. And a chance for the Tigers to tie. Step back long 2 is good, and we're tied at 29. Brandon Sampson, who passed up that late jump shot with time winding down yesterday. Boy, Gray is real dangerous with those quick hands. He commits the foul. 3:45 to go in the first half. Tied at 29. Back with more on the other side. All right, guys. I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving in advance. We take a look at the bracket. Wooden Legacy Tournament. Interesting matchups there. Michigan State #3 taking on Boston College.
Still no Gavin Schilling for Tom Izzo's crew. And as we look at another National Player of the Year candidate, Chris Dunn for Providence. We have one here in Brooklyn, and Ben Simmons. And Chris Dunn, I mean, just a special talent on the offensive and defensive end of the floor. He's got tremendous length, and he's strong. He's such a strong player. Really improved through his time and through those shoulder injuries that he's had for Ed Cooley and the Friars.
Returning for the Wolfpack, number 21, E.J. Onion.
Rowan on the wing. Boy, the Martin brothers have combined for 15 points so far in the ball game on 6 of 10 from the field. Nice post entry pass right there, but the rip by Josh Gray, who was digging on the play. Gray with the floater, no good. And he stepped out of bounds with possession.
To the Wolfpack.
How surprised are you we haven't seen the full court pressure that LSU has used in a lot of its games so far against this NC State team?
I think teams sometimes are a little timid to full court press because Cat Barber's like a one-man press break. I mean, with his speed and his dribbling ability, he can go through and get easy shots. So I think Johnny Jones will be a little bit judicious with his pressure.
Sampson with the easy one, and LSU has a rare lead with under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. A 7-0 Tiger run. Here's Rowan. Rowan, the son of former St. John player Ron Rowan. He gets tied up, and possession arrow in favor of LSU. Maverick played at Cardinal Gibbons down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for Marty Seidelman, one of the top programs down there. Big school, one of those 7A, 8A schools. The underrated Florida high school basketball scene. Simmons taking it to the cup, and he drove to the basket with bad intentions that time. He knew what he wanted.
He's so difficult to defend, and you know, we saw this from Marquette last night, where their game plan in a man-to-man situation was to give him gap, to give him space. But he's able to close that gap so quickly and get downhill, and then when there's contact created, it's generally a defensive foul. And so we've seen him do that a lot over the first few games of the season, just attack, get downhill, and get to the free throw line or pick up a foul.
NC State with 16 fouls, LSU with 5. Air ball that time. And Martin, from Martin, Cody to Caleb, bucket. And tied at 31 again.
Cody Martin. The score is tied at 31.
Ben Simmons shot an air ball on that last possession. Rowan ran through the Simmons screen. Bridgewater trying to post up. 5 on the shot clock for Josh Gray. Got to get busy. And he leaves the jumper short. Barber for a chance for the lead for NC State. Have you seen anyone quicker with the basketball in college basketball this year than Cat Barber?
I don't know. Cat Barber's pretty quick. I mean, Tyler Ulis is quick at Kentucky. I mean, there are some guys, but Cat might take it.
He
might take it as the quickest in college basketball.
Simmons out top. Martin laying off him. Fires the pass to Blakeney. Blakeney almost caught Martin sleeping, but couldn't convert the 3. Rowan with the step back triple. And Simmons with the bust out dribble. Sampson, good feed to Gray. A little bit of contact, no call. Gray hustling and chasing down the rebound. And Johnny Jones gonna call a timeout.
Timeout on the floor.
53.9 seconds to go here in the first half.
A 30-second
I mean,
timeout.
you look at Ben Simmons, and we talked about how stagnant the LSU half-court offense has been. And if it's just going to be Ben Simmons dribbling the basketball and no movement and nothing happening, then these are the quality of shots that you're going to get. Now, that's a semi-open three taken by Blakeney, but if you have a steady diet of contested jump shots, you're not going to beat the good teams. And so that's where the growth, I think, for LSU needs to come. Is Ben Simmons is so good, and this is a team that in transition, they are as good as anybody in the country doing this. Rebound, run. Rebound, fill the lanes, get Portman the ball, get Ben Simmons the ball, and they're so difficult to defend. But if you're playing against them, you try to get them in a half-court setting and make them work against you all night, and that's the biggest area for growth for the Tigers.
Let's see what they run coming out of this timeout. Simmons trying to post up now. They got him on the block here. Blakeney with a contested three, no good. Martin with the rebound. Simmons didn't get a touch. And who would have thought that, well, if he continues this way, Ben Simmons would play the first half without scoring a solitary point. That could be a first. Martin with the baseline jumper. Rowan couldn't handle it. Martin did. And the stick back by B.J. Anya. 9 seconds to go. Blakeney. Quarterman for three, no good. Martin with the board, and that's going to be the end of the first half of play. North Carolina State leading by 2. A tough, laborious first half for Ben Simmons with a goose egg on the board. Our halftime score, 33-31. We send it to Matt Schick in the studio.
All right, thank you, Mark. So NC State with that 33-31 lead. Of course, Ben Simmons, you all know the story. #1 player coming out of high school. 3 straight 20-point games. You saw the stat there. It went for 21 points, 20 rebounds in the loss to Marquette just 24 hours ago. And now 0 for 1 from the field so far. Officially 0 for 2 from the field. No points. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Again, your updated FanDuel Legends Classic bracket. And Marquette got that win over LSU yesterday, 81-80. Arizona State with the win over NC State. The championship coming up later on ESPN2 as Arizona State takes on Marquette.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And Old Spice. Score a smell down in the smell zone for the Smelltional Championship with Old Spice.
Only one player in the game so far has reached double figures in scoring. That is Caleb Martin, 4 of 9 from the floor. He's got 10 points. NC State up 2. Let's get to know another member of the Wolfpack with Jay Williams and Corey Alexander.
Safe to say this is our favorite segment, ACC Fast Break. We're lucky enough to be joined by B.J. Anya of NC State. 45 seconds of rapid questioning. You ready?
Yep.
CA, start off.
Your favorite female rapper? Ooh, Nicki Minaj.
What size shoe do you wear?
16/17. What's your favorite food? Ribs.
What's your actual height? Not program height, actual height.
6'10". 6'9" 3/4.
Okay, yeah, that's more like it. If you could be in a video with anybody, who would it be?
A music video?
Music video.
Future.
How do you style your hair?
I don't.
How do you cut your hair?
I don't.
If you could mirror any actress, who would it be?
Ooh, Paula Patton. It's easy.
What's the one thing that Coach Mark Godfrey does not know about you?
Everything. He knows nothing about me for real.
Are you a dancer? Do you like to dance?
Yeah.
When you go to the parties, do you leave with your shirt on or your shirt off?
My shirt is definitely off.
Well, there we go. Shirts off to that interview right there. That's your ACC Fast Break.
LSU basketball team off to a good start this season. Not necessarily in this game. Down 2, but here's Brandon Sampson. He scored 7 more points than Ben Simmons. We're ahead. LSU trailing at the half. Cody Martin, 7 points at half. Ben Simmons again, 0 of 1 from the field with no points. Second half now.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Welcome back to the fast-moving New York City, through the tunnels and through to Brooklyn, as we welcome back to the FanDuel Legends Classic in conjunction with Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. Mark Jones courtside along with Carol Lawson. We are in indistinguishable territory with respect to Ben Simmons. If we'd have said that he hadn't scored in the first half, we'd all would have been shocked, right?
Very shocked with Ben Simmons. 0 points in the first half, and we saw how good he's been in the beginning stages of his career. But look at LSU's offense in the half court, a little bit too stagnant. A lot of let's watch Ben Simmons dribble, make one pass, and then take a three-point shot. 3 for 13 from beyond the arc for LSU. This is the one shot that Ben Simmons did put up, a little fadeaway off an end out of bounds play. So let's see in the second half if LSU is able to increase their efficiency in the half court. We're very good in transition.
Let's take a look at our first half stats brought to you by TrueCar. Both teams with an equal amount of turnovers almost. And LSU still giving up almost half their points in the paint. A little bit of a disturbing trend, just like last night's game against Marquette.
And let's not shortchange what NC State was able to do in the first half. 17 points combined from the Martin twins. Caleb and Cody did a terrific job. They early struggled with their transition defense. I thought in the latter stage of that first half, they got back and forced LSU into their half-court sets.
Abu going to the foul line for North Carolina State. NC State coming into the ball game 2-2 overall, on the heels of their loss last night against Arizona State. Knocks down the first free throw. You'll see Arizona State and Marquette in the final over on ESPN2 after this game. A couple of former Duke players on the sidelines as the respective head coaches in this one. Bobby Hurley at Arizona State and Steve Wojciechowski in his second year on the bench as head coach at Marquette. Let's see if Simmons tries to get off early here in the second half. Robinson. Nice little jump hook, no good. Simmons with the tip. And he draws the foul going to the glass. And he'll go to the free throw line for a pair. He only took one shot in the first half, and that one shot missed everything.
But I like this in the second half. Instead of just coming down and putting his head down and driving against a packed paint, what did he do? He waited for an opportunity, attacked the offensive glass, and got himself to the free throw line. And you know, you always talk about how when guys struggle, get yourself to the free throw line, try and get yourself some easy points. He does miss that first one, but it's a way to just see the basketball go through the net, and we'll see if that kind of sparks his aggressiveness on the offensive end.
This is the first free throw, and some of the critics point to free throw shooting as maybe one of the soft spots in his game right now that needs shoring up. He shot in the mid to low 60s from the foul line on that 5-game Australian tour they had this summer. And here is the half-court trap. And as you mentioned, Barber, a one-man press break. Martin missed the jump shot. Quarterman with a nice outlet. Simmons on the move. And he missed the dunk. He tried to punch it with the offhand. Might have been expecting a little contact. It's been a rough night for Simmons. And Barber converts, making them pay at the other end. A little 4-point swing. Simmons kicks it out. Ends up on his wallet. Blakeney with the floater. Simmons with the tip, no good. Martin couldn't get the handle, but it's NC State basketball.
NC State, we're going to take a look at the missed dunk. Had an opportunity to drop it there to Blakeney for an easy layup, but chooses to go in and just misses the easy dunk. I mean, he had probably a high percentage play, passing it quick to Blakeney, but Ben Simmons for a dunk, I'll take that any day of the week in a fast break.
That's about as good as an opportunity you're going to get. Here he is leading the break. Nice look underneath to Quarterman, and Quarterman blew the layup. Robinson had his back with the follow. Robinson back on the court. Only gave Johnny Jones 15 minutes last night, playing on a sore ankle. An ankle that he hurt against South Alabama as Caleb Martin knocks down the three. That's his third tonight on 6 attempts. He's got 13. Blakeney with a nice show and go, left it short.
So I think Blakely turned down a good shot right on the catch behind the three-point line, and then when he turns that down, he takes a tougher shot as a two-point over a taller defender.
Rowan, we'll give him credit for the pass, and it finds a target for the bucket. Largest lead of the ball game now for North Carolina State. Cody Martin with that last bucket. Quarterman with the drive. Tough shot, and LSU looking a little bit disconcerted right now and not getting back in transition either. That's Cody Martin with the layup. Johnny Jones says, fellas, we got to talk. Timeout in Brooklyn, a 7-0 run to begin the second half here for the Wolfpack, and they lead when we come back.
You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
Let's take a look at the bracket for the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Vandy taking on Wake Forest tonight at 7:30 Eastern time, and Kansas and UCLA at 10 o'clock, both on ESPN. And boy, Coach Stallings at Vandy, he can really coach offense. I love some of the stuff they run, Kara.
And they have great shooters surrounding an all-SEC player in Damian Jones. And it's difficult to defend when you have guys like Riley LaChance, Wade Baldwin's coming off a terrific freshman campaign, Matthew Fisher-Davis. They've got a lot of guys that can knock down the three-point shot.
Mark Gottfried getting his team in a little three-quarter court press here, trying to get the trap broken well by the Tigers. Use up a little time on that shot clock. Simmons, and that's going to be an offensive foul against the Tigers. Robinson didn't get set. NC State pretty lethal on the break, Kara, tonight.
Well, the wheels kind of fell off a little bit from LSU outside that timeout. Look at this four guys bunch as you see Cody Martin just wide open running down the middle of the floor. I mean, that's the first thing you take away in transition defense. What you learn in 4th or 5th grade, you say take away the rim runner, the player running down the middle of the floor. LSU just out of sorts a little bit here.
Nice feed inside for the punch by Abu. He's about it tonight. A 12-point lead now for the Wolfpack. We'll see how the Tigers respond to this adversity. Simmons cut, didn't get it. Sampson firing the three, and he knocks it down. Johnny Jones says that Sampson is one of the best shooters that he has seen in a long time at LSU.
A little bit off last night.
Yep.
And defensively, Johnny Jones wants a little bit more from Sampson. He's capable, physically capable.
Had him in the same category as one Chris Jackson. Conjures up a lot of good images. Nice block underneath by Simmons. Caleb Martin off the mark, and Sampson looking to push it here. LSU down by 9. Patterson out top to Quarterman on the move. Tough drive by Quarterman, tipped up by Robinson, no good. And he reaches in and gets caught in the cookie jar. Well, even though Simmons isn't scoring, he's still playing both ends of the floor.
He is playing both ends of the floor. He's got great timing, and he's got the size advantage here on Cody Martin. And takes advantage of it. What athleticism from the freshman.
Welcome back, everyone, to the FanDuel Legends Classic in conjunction with Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. A 9-point lead as we take a look at the brackets. The winner of this game will go home. The final is after this on ESPN2 between Marquette and Arizona State. And Marquette, in a little bit of a surprise, took care of this LSU team yesterday. Meanwhile, on your screen, the Martin twins. Folks, you're not suffering from double vision or your TV going a little askew. The Martin twins combining for 24 points right now on 10 of 20 from the field. Not to mention 10 boards and 6 assists. Barber to Caleb Martin, who's officially the younger of the twins by a minute. I'm told that's an approximation, not an exact thing, Karen. Barber jumps on the loose ball, but that's going to be a shot clock violation. LSU basketball, and they need a couple of those stops.
You mean the the fact that it's 1 minute is an approximation.
Yeah,
Not that who's
I
younger
was
and older is an
told,
approximation.
yeah,
that,
you know, I mean, like-
that can't be an approximation. One comes out before the other, so it's not an approximation.
but I mean, nobody was there with the stopwatch.
I got you. I got you.
I know it's the age of analytics and all, but that's a little extreme. Simmons, tough jumper, left it short. Now 0 for 3 from the field tonight. Simmons takes it in and draws the foul. Well, still got his motor running it high. Well, Sunday, folks, ESPNU brings you College Football Sunday. From Heisman hopefuls to championship contenders, College Football Sunday is the only show that ranks them all exclusively on ESPNU and streaming live on Watch ESPN. Had your Tennessee Volunteers last week out in Missouri. So they took care of the Tigers out there. Butch Jones got his thing going right now a little bit. Got their 7th win of the season.
Certainly seems like Butch Jones has it heading in the right direction.
Tell you what, they have a quarterback who's an aerospace engineer, so.
I'm familiar with Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, they're in good hands. They're just testing. Just make sure you're keeping up, you know. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Wolfpack basketball. Ben Simmons now with 2 points in the ball game. He's only taken 4 shots. He took just 7 shots in that win against McNeese State. Anya underneath draws the foul, went up strong but couldn't convert. We were mentioning earlier that Coach Gottfried wants B.J. Anya to be a little more aggressive at the offensive end.
That was a big boy collision between Anya and
Right?
Bridgewater. Did you see that? I thought the power might go out.
Yeah. That's about 600 pounds of dudes under there. As Anya is off the mark, just a 29% free throw shooter, so a good foul by LSU. But it was Anya that made the deciding basket in that NCAA tournament game last year to give the Wolfpack the edge over the Tigers in victory. Simmons cross court to Patterson. Whips that pass to Patterson. That's good offense. Knocked down the 3. It's a 5-point game.
Assist Ben Simmons.
Still plenty of time. Barber out front working against Patterson. Barber off that elbow screen. Tough shot by Rowan. A contested 3. And a chance now to cut it down to a 3-point game. Boardman got a great look at it. And Anya with the pull. LSU back in transition on defense, doing a nice job. This is one of those interconference games that the committee kind of looks back on when they start looking at resumes in March.
We knew coming into this tournament that would be important for all 4 teams here, representing 4 different conferences.
Quarterman picks up the loose ball, says why not, and he draws the contact and the foul. Tim Quarterman going back to the foul line. The 6'6" junior from Savannah, Georgia, had 20 points and 6 rebounds last night. Second team all SEC. He's a preseason pick. And you'll be glad to know that you're not the only one in the LSU secret handshake society.
Yeah, I let them let you in. All right. I was in there first, but you know, you can know the secret handshake.
Oh, you're gonna change it up on me now, huh?
Maybe, we'll see.
After the free throw, it's just a 4-point game. North Carolina State has missed its last 5 shots. Martin drives, looking for the foul, won't get it. And Simmons, as he often does, leading the break. Tell you what, that scouting report on Simmons is going to spread pretty quickly, where teams continue to lay off him, force him to drive. Sampson with a wide open 3, tipped up. Bridgewater couldn't get it to go. Martin in transition. Got a 4-on-3. Martin got bumped. And will go to the free throw line.
Both teams look pretty winded right now.
Foul on the floor called against LSU number 20.
Sure do. It's not going to be a shooting foul as Robinson comes into the game for Bridgewater.
Returning for the Tigers is number 3, Albert
A couple of subs coming in for
Back in for the Wolfpack, 0, Abdul-Malik Abu.
North Carolina State. Cody Martin is going to get a breather along with B.J. Anya. North Carolina State looking for its offensive mojo, now missing 7 in a row from the field. And that foul going against LSU.
Tigers foul called against number 25, Ben Simmons. His second,
At some point,
6th on the team.
when it gets a little later in the second half, you always start to wonder about North Carolina State's depth. Do they need to build on this lead to give themselves a cushion, Kara?
Well, certainly, if you're Mark Godfrey, you'd like to have a little bit of a cushion, but I like the way they've played this. I like the fact they've extended and taken some time off the clock with their defense. They've gotten Cat Barber some rest in each half, which, you know, should bode well for them down the stretch because Martin's played so well. What a pass.
What a look by Simmons. Drops a dime to Sampson. And LSU has closed within 2.
NC State leads 46-44.
Josh Gray now guarding Barber. And Mark Gottfried says, when I want to give Barber a rest, I call timeout. Stop the game. Hit the reset button. We'll be back right after this.
A 6'10" player that can do this is what makes Ben Simmons so special. Rebound and then run. He doesn't have to look for an outlet. Look at his eyes. Always up at the floor and then delivers. I mean, that's an elite pro-level pass. Right on the run to Brandon Sampson for the easy bucket. That shows a lot of what makes him special. Rebounding, passing the basketball. 27 boards, 12 assists in the last 2 games. Those are the areas of his game that are the most mature. There are other areas that need to get better, but those areas he plays at an NBA level in those 2 spots.
Well, he fashions his game after LeBron James, a guy that he has on his contact list on his iPhone. Got him on speed dial. The 2 of them met at a Cavs Orlando Magic game not that long ago and have kept in contact since. And Ben wearing those LeBron kicks, I noticed too. Long jumper off the mark. They have now missed their last 9 shots in a row. And his kick game is on point too, folks. Caleb Martin to inbound. Actually, they're going to go to the bonus now. Leonard Freeman, the 6'9" junior out of Washington, D.C. had 3 points and 5 rebounds against Arizona State last night in that loss. Used all of it that time. Just a 40% free throw shooter.
So NC State has really done this without a supernova performance from Cat Barber. I mean, that's great news for Mark Godfrey down the stretch. They've played a solid game tonight defensively with their scheme. We see them in a little bit of a 2-3 zone right now, just packing in and trying to make LSU take as many contested shots as possible.
Sampson on the edge. Quarterman, a pretty good 3-point shooter as well. Drives baseline. Out to Gray. Great pass unselfishly to Simmons. Quarterman with the step back 3. Boy, everybody got a touch on that one, Kara.
I like Tim Quarterman's game. I like his toughness. He's an all-court player.
Really a great example for young college players to put the time and work in and improve. Good defense by Quarterman, forcing the missed shot. And LSU has a chance to take the lead. Simmons kicks it out to Sampson for 3, and they lead by 2. The Tigers have clawed their way back from a double-digit deficit, and they lead by a pair. Their first lead, actually, since 31-29. That foul line jumper by Abu knocks it. And that breaks the drought.
The pace has kind of picked up a little bit, hasn't it?
That's NC State's first field goal in the last 6.5 minutes. Oh, there's a little trick shot by Ben Simmons. Yeah, he planned it that way, folks. Here come the Wolfpack. He didn't really plan that, did he?
I don't think so. If he did, he's better than we thought, man. If he did, he's better than we thought.
Little two-man game. Martin setting a good screen for Abu. Barber out top. Who shot clock. Didn't need to use it all. Martin misfiring. Simmons. Great bounce pass. Gray got it jacked. Good block by Martin. And Barber in transition. Abu underneath. And he misses the reverse layup. Back and forth they go. Quarterman. Sampson flares for three. And NC State with possession. Barber can exhale a little bit and walk it up the floor.
Yeah, I think you run something here for NC State. I mean, settle it down. I don't think you want to get up and down all the time against LSU, so execute here.
Abu.
Yeah, good call.
That's going to be a foul against Albert Robinson. That's the fourth foul on Robinson. With 8:50 to go. That's the 8th team foul. So still no double bonus yet. Abu going to the free throw line, a 55% foul shooter for North Carolina State.
We see this from Abu, this action, the ISO there at the elbow, the turn and face, and a lot of times he's quicker than who's guarding him. That certainly was the case versus Albert Robinson, but we'll see him in the elbow area, you'll see him at the short corner. It's just hard to keep him between you and the basket with his first step quickness.
This is the free throw. Quarterman with the rebound. Here's Josh Gray back to Quarterman. They leave him wide open, and he makes them pay the price. Tim Quarterman with another three ball, and he has 10. You said it, Kara. Just a great all-around floor game by Quarterman again tonight.
No, he's a pro. He's a pro. He's going to play at the next level, and you know, the fact that he's worked on his game, continued to improve each year as we see Abu knock down another mid-range shot. It just speaks to his work ethic.
Quarterman with the ball fake. Back to Simmons. Simmons passes up the shot. Blakeney left wide open. Blakeney still trying to find a little consistency shooting it from downtown here in this tournament. Barber with the drive and layup with the left. And the Wolfpack regained the lead. Blakeney, same spot, different result. Those two guys have chemistry that goes back a few years. Teammates on the AU circuit. Seven ties and 9 lead changes in this highly competitive game, heating up here in the second half. Abu way off the mark. Simmons. There are people behind me echoing the sentiment of others that maybe he should have shot that. Quarterman going to work. Ten on the shot clock. Simmons going to get ahead of steam, running the show here, trying to get guys in place. Whips a pass to Quarterman, and it works out. Had that Peyton Manning feel to it. 9th assist of the night for Ben Simmons. LSU up by 5. Barber blocked by Simmons. Affecting the game in so many ways.
Fans don't get caught traveling between Boston and New York.
Brooklyn famous for a lot of things, amongst them some pretty good block parties, folks. Back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the FanDuel Legends Classic, part of Feast Week. Mark Jones chopping it up courtside with Kara Lawson. Ben Simmons, the type of player that you can't put in a box, and when you look at the box score, he's on the verge of something a little unique statistically, too.
He almost has a double-double, 11 boards, 9 assists. He has yet to make a field goal. Has 2 points, 2 for 4 from the free throw line. And, you know, look at that. He's impacting it in every other way but scoring. And let's hand it to this young player, because at 19 years old, he's not affected by scoring. And how he views the game is through the prism of winning first and then impacting the game in other ways. And a lot of players come to that after they get over themselves scoring. And he's kind of come to that part of the game early in his career. So I think that bodes well. Now, I've said all that nice thing. At some point, he's got to take over game scoring the basketball, right? At some point, he's going to have to. But I'd rather, for him and his growth, I think it's great the approach that he has to the game of basketball.
Yeah, I spoke with a couple of NBA GMs yesterday. Martin from Bed-Stuy. Wow. Knocks down a deep 3 to bring NC State to within 2. And I spoke with a couple of NBA GMs yesterday, and amongst showering him with praise, Simmons, they said that they'd like to see him be a little more selfish. Here's Barber. Under 6 minutes to go. North Carolina State coming in 2-2. LSU 3-1. Its first loss last night against Marquette. Nice spin move by Martin, but Cody Martin threw it away. 3-on-2 for the Tigers. Blakeney. Oh! Simmons missed the tip. And Anya couldn't corral the pass, and that really is on Caleb Martin. Pass a little off the mark. You don't want to give it to a big on the break like that.
Well, take a look at the last play where Caleb Martin knocks down that huge 3-point shot right at the shot clock buzzer. And let's watch Ben Simmons' family and his mom saying, wow. That's great. That's a great reaction.
Martin twins have had a great night tonight here in Brooklyn. Combining for 25 points. Waterman with the floater. Got his own rebound. Takes it right back and then kicks it out. Blakeney continues to struggle.
Look at Quarterman.
Unbelievable effort, an unremitting and tireless effort by Tim Quarterman tonight. Tell you one thing about Blakeney, he won't stop shooting. 4.5 minutes to go. Inside to Simmons. Bridgewater left open. Simmons found him, and that's the result. Another dime for Ben Simmons off the Bridgewater bucket. Mom and dad insist, love it. They moved to Orlando some 4 years ago. As Ben attended Montverde Academy. Powerhouse nationally in high school basketball, won the mythical national championship. Anya inside, draws the foul.
LSU foul called against number 5.
What do you think Mom thinks about her son getting the rough treatment and the whistle not blowing? There was the play, and what do you think about this, Kara?
She's telling somebody to pass the ball. But, you know, that's fitting, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, what is he? He passes the ball, so she likes passing. That's fine. That's right. There's nothing wrong with that.
As I mentioned, they moved to Orlando 4 years ago. The family did. Dave played professional basketball in Australia for 13 years, and our games on ESPN2, 24 LSU games all year being shown live in Australia. I guess it's about 11 o'clock over there right now in the late morning. Off the miss, out of bounds. NC State basketball.
Official timeout on the floor.
Yeah, get on your feet, Dad. It's time to turn up. Back after this.
Is brought to you by FanDuel, the leader in one-day fantasy basketball, and Continental Tire, for what you do.
All right, guys, back here. LSU with the lead with 3:44 to go. Looking for their 4th win of the season. SEC against the ACC. And Ben Simmons already has a double-double with assists and rebounds. 0 for 5 from the field tonight. His only points coming on a couple of foul shots. And a nice steal by Patterson. And he got ripped on the back tap. Martin. Cody Martin up to his twin. Back to Cody. And Barber couldn't make the pass inside. Quarterman got another deflection. Maverick Rowan left wide open, and he can't cash. Simmons' intended target had tipped out of bounds. Nice move there by Abu, trying to keep Maverick Rowan's head in it. 3:03 to go.
LSU's done a nice job offensively here in the second half. Just 1 turnover.
Simmons sets the screen for Blakeney. Barber goes under. Blakeney went right over the top but couldn't make the shot. Got a great look at it. Blakeney just 4 of 14 from the field. Another tough shooting night for him. Ten on the shot clock. Good defense by the Tigers so far. Cody Martin drives on Simmons, threw it away, but it was knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, really good defense. I mean, they are impacting to a man the ball handler, putting tremendous pressure. And this is a team that we saw turn it up late in that game against Marquette. It almost helped them win the ball game. You see if they're turning up their defense here. Great job there on the end out of bounds.
Patterson has a 2-on-1. Quarterman gets the layup. It hasn't been pretty tonight for the Tigers, but they are grinding it out. And now lead by 5, 15 points, and a spectacular, irradiant, all-around effort by Tim Quarterman tonight. Barber fouled by Jalen Patterson. Barkley trying to get his guys pumped up here with just under 2 minutes to go. Now he's taking his team to the NCAA tournament. His first 4 years on campus in Raleigh, North Carolina. He'll have his team peaking at the right time. History shows that. Although the Wolfpack picked to finish 8th this year in the conference for whatever it's worth. Terry Henderson, though, we got to mention, not part of the team right now. He transfer from West Virginia, injured. Turned his ankle early in the season. Quarterman off the Simmons screen. Ball knocked loose. Blakeney still trying to find it. Now 4 for 15. Barber will get a couple of shots on the reach. Folks, let's take a look at the bracket in the Wooden Legacy Tournament. Boise State, UC Irvine, BC, Michigan State, Santa Clara. The Broncos taking on number 11 Arizona. Sean Miller with another fine team this year. Caleb Tarczewski, the big fella, amongst others, as Barber knocks down the first free throw.
We'll see their rival, in-state rival, Arizona State, the Sun Devils, in the championship game here at the Legends Classic.
One-point ball game. 1:35 to play. Gray, Simmons, Bridgewater, Blakeney, and Quarterman for LSU. Double screen for Blakeney. Here's Quarterman working against Maverick Rowan, the freshman. Bridgewater posting up. 10 on the shot clock. Simmons sets the screen. They switch it. Quarterman dancing with it. Tough shot. Rebounded by NC State, and a foul on Simmons. A costly foul on Simmons. As that sends NC State to the free throw line as the Sun Devils look on. They'll take the court next in the final against Marquette. You see that game on ESPN2. Wojo of Marquette, their head coach, against another former Dookie, Bobby Hurley. Now the head coach at Arizona State. Abu at the foul line, a 55% foul shooter on the season.
So LSU was up 63-58, stretched it to a 5-point lead with about 2 minutes ago, and you thought, okay, their defense is in a good groove right now. 3 straight fouls have resulted in 3 straight trips to the free throw line for NC State, who had struggled during that stretch to score the basketball. Now the score's tied.
And an offensive rebound for the Wolfpack. Martin back to Barber. Under a minute to go. Another tight game and finish for the Wolfpack. And Barber's the guy you want making those plays. A 7-0 sprint has them leading by 2. And a timeout called by the Tigers and Johnny Jones. They're going to draw one up. They've got 1 timeout remainder.
Cat Barber, we talked about his quickness. Cat quick. And just the opening, the ISO situation right down the lane. That's a play that Mark Godfrey drew up for his point guard, and he's been kind of quiet for Cat Barber here this evening, but he's there when it matters most and gives his team a 2-point lead.
Barber, a second-team All-ACC selection preseason by the coaches. So far, it doesn't look like fatigue has been an issue for him tonight, as the coach has been very discerning with his minutes. He's been their best player so far, and Gottfried has even admitted that you see the 4 of 11 shooting, maybe that's affected by all the mileage he's had to put on because of their lack of depth right now. 2-point game. What's LSU thinking inside their huddle? And what are you looking to run if you're Johnny Jones? Whose hands do you want to put the ball in, and who do you want taking this shot?
Well, certainly something with the ball in Ben Simmons' hands, and we saw their late game approach last night. Ben Simmons was able to make a shot in transition, and then late in the draw and kick situation, he found Sampson for a look, and then went again and found Patterson for a look. So I think if you're NC State, that's what you're trying to do, is force him to kick it out to one of their shooters and then contest that shot. You don't want him going down the lane too deep and getting to the rim for a dunk or a layup.
Sampson has shot it well tonight. Brandon Sampson has 15 points, but he is not in the game right now. Simmons on the drive, takes it all the way, and one. Simmons' first field goal of the night. That's right, you heard me right. Mom says it's about time, son.
This is what Ben Simmons did last night to give LSU a 1-point lead. And the second time around, he passed it up 2 times, opportunities. Great play set by Johnny Jones out of the timeout.
And the free throw bugaboo raising its ugly head again for Ben Simmons. Tied at 65. About a 7-second difference between the shot and game clock. So LSU will get another possession. Barber scored on their last time down the court. Here's Martin, gives it back to Barber. 5 on the shot clock. Martin contested over Simmons, missed everything. Abu with the stick back, but didn't count. That might be a shot clock violation. It hit the side of the backboard. I'm not sure that it hit the rim before that. And if so, did he release it before the clock expired? Let's take one more look.
Oh, no, it doesn't look like he got it off.
I'm not sure that Abu got it off in time, Kara.
No good.
The officials are going to look at this. Now, there was a foul called on the play, but it won't count if it was after the shot clock. Yeah, I'm not sure. He didn't get that off in time. You see that light on, and the ball is right there in his hand. Shot clock violation.
And that's important to note that the foul will not count because NC State's in the double bonus. And so, you know, we'll obviously if the foul would have counted, it would have been an and one, but I'm saying that's an important distinction.
So 7.2 to go now. LSU with possession. They'll get it on their own baseline. Out of bounds. And obviously you're looking at Ben Simmons bringing the ball down court. It'll be interesting to see whether he's going to shoot it tonight, unlike last night, or if he passes it out to one of the open shooters. We showed you the video a moment ago. Last night, in the dying seconds of the game, he passed it. One more look at the call. So they're trying to figure out how much time is left on the clock. And they're going to put it at 7.8.
7.8. Now, what's important to note here is that NC State still has 2 fouls to give. So before they cross the half-court line, you could take some, and you could take kind of the engine out of Ben Simmons here coming full speed down the court, trying to create some havoc. We'll see if Godfrey goes with that approach.
They put it in Gray's hands. And they call a timeout in the front court. As LSU burns its final timeout. Plenty of time with 4.2 to get a good look. See who comes out of this huddle for Johnny Jones. Looks like Sampson, Brandon Sampson, their best three-point shooter tonight. He's 3 of 7 from downtown. Is going to come into the ball game, even though they don't need a three. One more look at Simmons last night. Tough shot late in the game.
This is just a great play out of the timeout. The rehearsed backdoor cut, and then Simmons gets the ISO there from the elbow going left.
He can finish with that offhand pretty well.
He can finish with either hand, and so you ISO him on that side. And what I liked about the design of the play is that everybody was on the other side of the court. So it was hard for them with that backdoor cut and that action to load up and get into a help situation to Ben Simmons quicker.
See how much of a difference a night makes for Ben Simmons and LSU here. Tied at 65.
Remember, still 2 fouls to give if you're NC State.
Not going to use it, and they reach and then decide to use it with 1.9 to go. So they waited, and they've still got one more foul to give. So if you're LSU, you're thinking you got to get something quick here, obviously.
Right, which would deter NC State from fouling right away, because if they foul, you know, in the act, it'll be a shooting foul.
Let's see who gets this last shot. Blakeney got a look, it'll count, and we'll go to overtime. Antonio Blakeney from straight away left it short. Really typical of the type of night that Blakeney has had. He's just 4 of 16, and I hope in Australia they're not cutting to the local news. They're keeping us on air. This game being shown live there.
They're at lunch. Everyone in Australia should be taking a lunch break right now.
What do you make of this last play in the shot?
I mean, there's not much more you could get out of it. You could try to get something to the basket with Simmons, but there's 1.9 left. So Blakeney gets a contested look at the top of the key, but he's certainly capable of making that.
That was a nice ATO to spring him loose. He came from the baseline. Got a clean look. Of course, Johnny Jones with a pretty good coaching staff. We talked about David Patrick. Brendan Surr, former NBA assistant with the Atlanta Hawks and Detroit Pistons, also a new member on that coaching staff for LSU. Well, if you're Johnny Jones and if you're Mark Gottfried, you know, there's been a good trip in the respect, Kara, that you get a chance to play 2 very competitive games that go down through the wire on back-to-back nights against power conference teams. And each of the coaches we have spoken to echoed the sentiment that this is a good kind of a simulation for the NCAA tournament.
2 games in 2 days, and it's a great situation for both teams, as you said. LSU is such a young team. Putting your players in these pressure situations and seeing how they respond to them. I mean, you're down 1, your score is tied. What plays are you going to run? All these things are what you want out of your non-conference slate, so that when you get into ACC play or SEC play, your guys have been exposed to those situations, not just in practice settings.
Johnny Jones, the former player at LSU, former assistant coach under Dale Brown, now the head coach in Baton Rouge. His team looking for their 4th win of the season. They're going to win the tip and control it. Up court with Tim Quarterman. Little horn set here. Simmons cross court. Blakeney didn't take it. Quarterman will. Here's the Wolfpack. Out to Barber. Tight game, 9 ties, 10 lead changes. Abu. And Blakeney, little lapse in concentration.
Yeah, I would run that play again if I was NC State. I know that Bridgewater took a chance, went for a steal, and that's how Abu got the drive to the basket. But I think that's an advantage you have there with Abu facing up and the ability to use his quickness.
Barber to Martin.
They ran the same
foul. Yep.
That's his 5th foul.
And Ben Simmons is done for the night. He is done. A very unceremonious exit for the college basketball player of the year, with mom and dad and his sister watching.
Well, they ran the same play all right.
Yeah.
They just ran it at Ben Simmons. So on the opposite elbow, the same thing. And Cody Martin just puts his head down. And I don't know that I like that call. I don't know where the foul was. There was contact, but it was initiated by Cody Martin there. And to me, it looks like Ben Simmons maintained his legal guarding position by just moving laterally.
Yeah. You said it, legal guarding position. Now the swipe at the ball is a little different, but
I think the whistle was blown before that.
Yeah.
I mean, the whistle was blown, I think, before that swipe of the ball.
Cody Martin off the mark. He's an 80% foul shooter on the season coming into the game. Cody Martin, one half of the Martin twins. Had 10 points and 5 rebounds last night in that loss against the Sun Devils. Makes 1 of 2. And Simmons watching from the side. And that's going to be an offensive foul against the Tigers on the illegal screen. Second time they've been whistled for that tonight.
So we talked about at the start of this overtime, Mark, of how you're being exposed to different situations. And if you're LSU, what happens if Ben Simmons picks up 2 fouls in the first half? What happens if Ben Simmons fouls out late in the game? Does the bottom fall out, or are the guys left on the court able to maintain? So let's see. I mean, I'm anxious to see how LSU handles this.
We'll learn a lot about the composition of this team in the next 3:40. Bridgewater hustling, comes up with a loose ball. Quarterman. Gray missed the layup, but Quarterman, who else there for the tip? Back to a 1-point margin. Gray did a great job guarding the ball last night. Had some key steals late in that game against Marquette. He's guarding Cat Barber. Great matchup there. Maverick Rowan, finally, for the freshman. Just 2 of 10 tonight. He's got 6 points. Boy, Blakeney seems to have lost a little bit of his confidence, hesitating on those 3-pointers. And as I say that, he fires, but he misses again. Barber hit the brakes, and Gray sent it back the other way. A 3-on-1 for LSU. And Quarterman with the layup. It's back to a 2-point game. He's reduced to the role of cheerleader now with those 5 fouls. He's been DQ'd. Under 2.5 to go. LSU, a real small lineup out there right now. Abu posting up against Bridgewater. Baseline fadeaway. Rowan with the rebound, and he draws the foul. The freshman Maverick Rowan wasn't even supposed to be a starter this year. Will go to the free throw line and try and give his team a 4-point lead.
Maverick Rowan to the line for Wolfpack with 2 shots.
Well, you talk about close games. 2 yesterday, decided by a total of 4 points. Fun has just begun. We got another one here tonight. You'll see it on ESPN2 between Marquette and Arizona State. Immediately following this game, 2:02 to go. And Maverick Rowan makes it a 4-point contest. Gray out top. Drive and kick. Sampson. Boy, that is a beautiful looking jump shot. It's back to a 1-point margin.
This has been a great game.
Brendan Sampson, who Johnny Jones, the head coach, says shoots it as well as Chris Jackson back in the day. High praise for the freshman. Under 1.5 to go. Barber off the screen, pulls it back out. Martin on the drive, dances through the paint, loose ball, and Cody Martin comes up with it. And another crucial possession for the Wolfpack.
Well, that's the challenge for this group. I mean, 4 guards around an undersized post, defensive rebounding. When a shot goes up, can they finish the stop with a board?
Here's Caleb Martin inside. Double team, and Cody Martin on the dive and the layup. Martin brothers have brought some order to the court tonight for NC State, combining for 30 points. Gray, tough shot inside, rebounded by Barber. Looking for an easy one on the push. Rowan. And the Wolfpack lead by 5. LSU in trouble, and the steal on the careless pass by Josh Gray. Barber pulling it out, and he draws the foul on Quarterman. And NC State on the verge of winning this overtime game.
Just careless with the basketball right here if you're Josh Gray, and Cody Martin reads it, and Cap Barber, the quickness, pushing, the play before where he gets the drop pass and then smartly pulls it out to run some time and force the foul. NC State just executing a little bit better here the last couple minutes.
Barber, an 85% free throw shooter, makes the first. 2-possession game. Now at least a 3-possession game with just 29 to go. And LSU burns its last time out. Let's check in with the studio.
LSU takes a 30-second timeout.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Back here, 79-72, Kara Lawson. We have seen some very competitive games. 2 close games last night. Final winning margin total of 4 points tonight. Again, a 7-point overtime contest sets the table for a great game to come between Marquette and Arizona State, too.
For a 3rd place game, what a treat. What a treat it's been. And we saw a great performance by Ben Simmons, not scoring the basketball, but rebounding and assisting. He fouls out, and NC State has taken control in this overtime period. The Martin twins, Cody and Caleb, so consistent tonight. They've been physical. They've each taken turns in guarding Ben Simmons. It's been a great, great game and a really great 2 days of basketball here in Brooklyn.
Well, this LSU team, a very freshman-laden team. Going to say a lot about them and how they come back. Sampson, one of those freshmen. Shot the 3 particularly well tonight, but missing that time. Gray commits the foul, stopping the clock with 13.8 to go. I'll tell you what, Mark Gottfried has run the treads off of that guy's tires. I mean, Cat Barber, I'm not sure that he's got anything left on the soles of those Adidas of his. but he has been tireless tonight, indefatigable in his effort.
Well, a minute or 2 minutes on the bench for Cat Barber. It was like 5 or 6 minutes for anybody else. So he's played 43 minutes thus far. So he got a minute rest in the first and a minute rest in the second.
A whole minute.
He's good to go.
Oh, thanks, Coach.
He's good to go.
Hey, you love guys that don't like to come out of the game, though, right?
Yep.
And fittingly, Barber ends up with the ball with 2.2 to go. And, well, the old double vision play played real well tonight for NC State as well. Cody and Caleb Martin out of Mocksville, North Carolina, representing that town real well. They combined for 30 points, 19 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Two players that are really critical to what Mark Godfrey is going to do this year. Their versatility is shown through tonight. Great win for NC State.
And for LSU, a steep learning curve still waiting to be climbed. 11-point win for NC State. Rowan with 7 big points in overtime for the winners. 83-72 the final score in overtime. College football is coming up on ESPNU. Ohio taking on Northern Illinois. Our championship game, Marquette and Arizona State, over on ESPN2. In a presentation of ESPN for Kara and our entire gang, I'm Mark Jones. Thanks for watching.